NBA DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are looking at the 10-game main slate over on DraftKings, kicking off Monday at a 7:30 start time here, and quite a few late games on the slate. 4 games starting at 10 p.m. or later on this slate. So
Five games.
5 games starting 10 p.m. or later on this slate. DraftKings all season long has split these slates up for us. Not today, not this week. I don't know. Maybe they're focused on like the upcoming MLB Tokyo series, or they just wanted to give us a 10-gamer here on a Monday. But yeah, don't go to bed early. Plan on setting your lineups with some late swap ability, because there is a lot of injury news on this slate. Some big names, obviously, that we're going to be waiting on here. Teams on back.
Jokic price, John.
Yeah, the Jokic 13K finally got there. Is he a better play than a 12K Luka? We'll discuss. We'll discuss that as he takes on the worst defensive team in the NBA and the San Antonio Spurs. We'll see. But yeah, this is going to be a wild slate to talk about. Plenty of action. Some of the worst teams in the league right now are on this. Philly, with the fact that who they're putting on the floor. Utah, with whom they're putting on the floor at times here. So get ready, lock in. Your boy James Grande is going to be on this playbook, so he'll have all of it for you guys. And then we'll be live at 5, hopefully, with some level of clarity. But the 7:30 lock time kind of screws us, as it has all season long, because we haven't gotten as much injury news here. Maybe the 7:30 game is one you cross off your list. It's Miami, New York. I know there's no problem.
Get it out of my life. Get it out of my life.
But we'll see where we go. You mentioned Jokic, 13K, finally going up against Golden State. You got Luka at 12K. LeBron James did get some court work done today, but I don't think he's expected.
They said a week. They said he's out for the next week.
All right, so you got that. You got Towns at 10K again. No Jalen Brunson. Cade 98. So some guys up here, obviously up over $9,000. We will discuss point guard position. I'll also just give the forewarning now. If at some point in time I start talking over James, it's not because I am. It's because we may have had a connection issue. We're just going to get that out of the way. I went over a long spiel on Friday, but if you guys are just tuning in now, remember, I am not that big of a D-bag. I'm not just cutting James off intentionally. Sometimes, but not usually. So yeah, if there's some communication issues where I'm talking over him, apologies, but hopefully we have the mic situation sorted. All right, point guard, Luka, 12K, San Antonio. San Antonio, as you rightfully brought up the other day, since Victor Wembanyama went down, they are the worst defensive team in the NBA. That night, they gave up 143 points to the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
Fact checked. That came out true. So they have to deal with Luka Doncic here at 12K. You got Cade Cunningham, who, when he's not getting ejected from games, is putting up some pretty good fantasy points here lately. 54 and 64 fantasy points in 2 of the last 3. Again, got ejected from the Thunder game for rightfully arguing a free throw formation penalty call or something like that. Anywho.
Did you see the Bickerstaff rant?
I did. Yeah, all-timer.
Give
that man good. Coach of the year now.
So good. So good.
So he's 98. John Morant already ruled out. We know Maxi's out. Steph Curry here. I would imagine he suits up against Denver. Was he probable? It's just probable, questionable. But I don't know. I would imagine that he plays. Halliburton questionable. And Siakam already ruled out. So we'll see what happens with the Pacers there against Minnesota as sort of some of the key news there. But for healthy guards, you're making a decision tonight. Where does Luka rank for you?
I will note, before we definitively say Luka's in, he did sit their last back-to-back that they just had like last week. So
That's
just
fair.
we're gonna proceed as if he's in.
Yeah.
But it is obviously worth the mention, because
we got the big Austin Reeves game.
Oh, dude, he had he had like 25 and 10 at half or whatever he had. If Luka plays, he's as good as anybody on the slate. He's per dollar better than Jokic based on this matchup. San Antonio is not going to have anyone to guard them. They've had no one to guard. They've had no one to protect the rim. 13 straight games, no Victor Wembanyama. It's only gotten worse. So if anyone needed to like proof, like John just said, 140 to Charlotte. That should be like this is one. This is the spot. Cade is in an equally good spot. The Pelicans are not good defensively. Their whole team is listed questionable. Like you said, he just got thrown out of a game that he missed all of his shots in, but likely was going to triple-double or close to a triple-double. And we know how hot Cade can get in short spurts. So love Cade at 98. You mentioned Ja, Maxey. Another back-to-back for Phoenix. I assume nobody sits. Booker's always in play in tournaments. Curry definitely in play if he plays. Very good tournament play with the minutes. Austin Reeves will be the highest rostered player of the slate, at least like of this price range if Luka sits. And honestly, you can play him even if Luka plays. On Sunday, he had another hey guys, I probably should have been included in the Luka trade if I was like a comp, like an actual serviceable GM. But instead, no, I'll just play 39 minutes, 28 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block, and hit 4 threes. And that's a third best option on a team right now. And man, would that one team that traded that one guy could really use a player like this. But either way, Reeves is in play and then becomes elite if there's no Luka, because you're basically getting a 10K player for 8,900 at that point. So love Austin Reeves either way. You mentioned the Halliburton stuff. We had talked about it in that the Philly game, because that was the Siakam questionable game, and he didn't have a good game. Siakam played. He has really good numbers without Siakam. So if he plays, because he's been dealing with this back and the hip, and there's been all these different types of injuries, he is like a 1.3 fantasy point per minute player. It's a tough spot. Minnesota's won a bunch of games in a row. They're good defensively. They didn't have to play any of their guys in the fourth quarter because they had scored 40 in 3 quarters and then said, no, we're up by 100. Don't need to play. So pretty much full strength Minnesota team. So if you want to get to Halliburton, you can. Doubt Scotty Barnes plays. He played tonight, so doubt he plays. Tyler Hero, can play him if you want, but that game is disgusting. And if you lock anything in that game, good luck for the rest of the year. Good luck for the rest of the slate. Quentin Grimes, I just had it up. The Sixers played 10 guys on Sunday between 15 and 32 minutes. Yeah. No one played more than 32. No one played less than 15. Quentin Grimes, in a revenge game, had 28 against his former team.
What did I tell you when that trade happened? I was like, that's a weird trade, right? Grimes for Martin.
It was 100% a contractual thing because Quentin Grimes is a free agent. Caleb Martin's 4 years, $30 million. It's like, well, I'll just hope that Caleb Martin is that player, and they're like, oh no, Quentin Grimes was the guy.
Caleb Martin was hurt all year.
Yeah, hurt all year except that one game against Boston.
Yeah, well,
we know he loves. I don't know if Dallas has Boston on the schedule or not, but yeah, I mean, I think 8,100 against Houston is too much, but it is obviously worth just pointing out how good Quentin Grimes has been.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What's the Giddey thing there? Giddey doubtful. Okay.
He's doubtful, yeah.
I thought he was out for more than just what he had missed there. Monk 79. You'll have Murray. I keep touting Jalen Green here. I'll just getting Van Vliet back, dude. Just to run the point guard has unlocked this dude. Again, should be a game where they just roll through Philadelphia. Philadelphia's not. They've had a really easy run. He's had a lot of fantasy points, and he's playing still minutes and played 32 in the blowout against Dallas. So, that feels good here. I don't mind going the Jalen Green route. You mentioned McCollum. Without Zion, do we have Zion back for this slate?
He's questionable.
Okay. Again, tough matchup on their side against Detroit. Van Vliet had a huge game alongside. And again, that's just a matchup against Chicago. They're so bad against everybody. What do we think in this 7K tier?
Yeah, on the Van Vliet front, it is worth mentioning there was no Tari Eason in that one. So Tari Eason had the night before had a 30 bomb actual points because that's the Tari Eason experience in a nutshell. He could just do crazy stuff in flurries. I love the Jalen Green call. I'm all aboard. I played him against the Bulls the other night. Really slow start, and then just was a bottle rocket the rest of the game.
I took the over, wrote up his over 22.5, I think it was, or 24.5, and he I got nervous because he was like 2 for 7 to start, and then he checked back in and pretty much didn't miss for the rest of the game. So
I thought the same thing because I played him in DFS, and I was like, oh wait, I looked, he had like 20. Me and my wife were watching Hardball. We watched. She had never seen Hardball, so I looked quick part. I was like, oh, Jalen Green has like 20 something fantasy points a half. This is. I'm shocked we're here, but yeah, he's been great. McCollum, you messaged me about it, and spot on. If everyone's out again, this is a spot. New Orleans has a long injury report. Zion questionable, Kellyo questionable, Yves Missi questionable. So that's 3 starters potentially down.
Yeah,
we would go right to the McCollum route. Even if Zion sits, you probably take interest in McCollum, even if the other two played. Van Vliet is fine. I'd be interested to see. Anthony Simons was questionable going into the Sunday game and he played really well. And it's a hand injury. So, my assumption is he plays, but it is obviously worth mentioning player on injury report day before plays, and then Washington the next day. Not that Washington's winning a little bit right now. They won a couple games. They're 2-0 against Denver this year.
Yeah.
Even though Jokic has 100 something actual points against them in the 2 games. If Simons were to sit, that would open up a lot for Portland there.
Yeah, I mean, Scoot still played 30 off the bench because, they were out Jeremy Grant and all that stuff there. But Scoot was slated to enter the starting lineup if Simons was out. We would certainly play some Scoot Henderson here. Again, Jordan Poole, you can play him in tournaments if you want. He gets hot. He scores a bunch of points. It's Portland. I know they've been better, but Washington, he feels like a good spot potentially for Jordan Poole to have one of his days. Seven Castle. He had a really good game against Charlotte. Again, Charlotte allowed 134 in that game. So that was just everybody scored. Castle was fine. 17, 1 and 7, he was just didn't really hit no threes, obviously there. Keldon Johnson had a good game. They had other guys, which can happen with the Spurs. They have other guys that can just score, and then Castle doesn't score. But ideally, we'd think Castle would be in another good spot here. As you pointed out, without Fox and without Wemby on the floor, he has the biggest usage bump on that team. So, of that group. So
now let me ask you this, because we don't really need to know this, but we will. We'll get the Denver news first. Jokic and Aaron Gordon are both questionable.
Yeah. Which
Jokic has been with this ankle, elbow stuff. He's been listed probable. I expect him to play because I don't know if you saw that quote when Malone tried to get him to sit and he said, quote, hell no, and then just played.
Okay.
But it is worth mentioning he's been probable the last week, and now he's questionable. If one of Gordon or Jokic or both sit, Westbrook or Castle, because Westbrook had a monster game.
No. We know Westbrook is where we want to go. I would. Again, I can't say if it's Jokic, I'd feel better about it because, again, Gordon was out and Westbrook still had the huge game here.
Right.
And that's been the case. Is really as long as Westbrook has gotten the 30-plus minutes this year, for the most part, he's been a pretty elite play. So, this game is probably the better game to watch. If there's no Luka, Castle's in a pretty good spot too, though.
Yeah.
So, not that Luka defensively, that's not what I mean, but I'm just saying, from a flow standpoint, maybe Castle would find himself fine. Probably just play them both, honestly. I mean, they're both there. You have again Utah. We'll see what happens. Who plays? Who doesn't play in this game already? I mean, they have Chicago. I mean, this is a great bad team matchup to target.
Oh God.
Trey Jones, Jared Butler. I'd probably play Trey Jones over Butler.
Same.
$5,900. Trey Jones, but continues to be really good. Obviously, Scoot at 57. If there's no Simons, would be great. If there's no Halliburton, would you play Nembhard versus Minnesota?
Absolutely. He has been really good. No Halliburton. After a slow start, we had that like stretch of games where there's no Halliburton. He was great in all of them.
I was super high on Nembhard coming into the year, if you remember. And then he really let me down. Maybe it looked like cool. And then had a nice mid year. So good to see him bounce back a little bit there. Is Conley injured or is he just resting today?
He was resting today.
Yeah, so he'll be back for this one then. DDV will still play. So I mean, but I don't know if you feel inclined to pay $5,600 for DiVincenzo.
I paid $55 for him on the Sunday slate because he was out Conley. I'd be okay with it. He's been good. I'd be okay with it. It's been fine.
You mentioned the minutes for everybody and who didn't play after Doughton went and just torched the Pacers. He played 20 minutes on Sunday. I don't want to have to figure out what to do at Philadelphia. It's a matchup against Houston, so maybe we just don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the situation is different if they don't have 12 active bodies. Like when they had 8 or 9 last week, it was easier. Now Chumo Keki is signed and O'Shea Brissett is signed, and they have all these guys playing like moderate minutes.
Yeah. 2 guys on Toronto played over 30 minutes today. Shed started, but he wasn't one of them. He played 25. Lawson, again, off the bench, played 33. We don't know if Quickly or Barrett will be back or not.
I assume those 2 would play, and Scotty sits, but who knows?
Yeah, Quickly was rest. Mentioning Scotty, we have Scottie Pippen. No job already. $4,700. Obviously, he too is questionable, but I mean, $4,700 matchup against Sacramento here.
Yeah, I mean, here it's going to be the same thing. I tweeted about this. Like, I think Scottie Pippen is a good play. So I'm not saying he's not. I think he's a very good fantasy player. But in the same breath, they were going into that slate. Him and Luke Kennard were the same fantasy point per minute output players with the guys that were in and out of the lineup. And Kennard, who probably starts again.
Yep.
Because that's kind of the direction they've gone all year, was like 2.5x lower ownership in Scottie Pippen, and nobody knew what to do and just stayed on Scottie Pippen and ran really good. I'm okay with playing both. I do think that there's obvious leverage, and the obvious leverage is going to be Luke Kennard because he's going whatever scenario, like even if Kennard starts, he's still going to be the lesser owned of the 2.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious why, though, right? I mean, Pippen fills the stat sheet. He has a higher ceiling, unless Kennard goes and hits 10 threes or something like that.
It just hasn't been the case, though. Like, per minute, they were exactly the same. Like, Scottie Pippen did have 1.5% usage better, but when it's 1.5% usage and exactly the same fantasy point per minute,
but I think when you're talking ceilings versus floors, like Pippen should have the higher ceiling.
Sure. Also, though, Luke Kennard was in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So if Luke Kennard does shoot as well as he has, does Scottie Pippen play as? I mean, I'm not saying Scottie Pippen's been playing, and I'm not saying he's a bad play. I think he is a good play. I just think that you look at situations like that, and there's clearly one leverage spot, and it's going to be Kennard basically every time.
I would agree with you. I'd probably still play Pippen. just his ceiling, I think, is enticing there. Vincent keeps playing a lot of minutes. If there's no Luka, the minutes could be there for him. Actually,
he didn't start. He didn't start today.
Yeah, I know.
They started. I wouldn't play him at that price, especially not starting. No.
Well, we find out if he starts or not. Obviously, well, if he doesn't start, I would agree with you then.
Bradley Beal left. They didn't really go to Tyus, but they went to Gillespie.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. It is a back-to-back for Phoenix. Like, would it stun you if Beal sat?
No, he's not playing.
Yeah.
No way. He left another Bradley Beal injury with a back-to-back. There's no chance. But they played Gillespie. Dude, they played Gillespie 24 minutes. They played him equal amount of minutes as Tyus Jones, and Gillespie's 3K.
Sure.
But if Tyus starts, obviously that's more appealing. But it is just obviously worth mentioning. Tyus Jones played 23-30, had 8 points, 5 assists. Connor Gillespie played 23-30, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and he's 3K.
Yeah. I would play the starter, but I understand where you're going with that. This is also a team that is just like begging for the season to get over. Durant's fighting with the coach again.
Yeah, but Durant, the other day with him and Bud?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that happens a lot. Like, not with him specifically, just like Josh Hart was screaming at Tibbs and Tibbs was screaming at Josh Hart. I feel like that's just like two like competitors kind of like just like.
Yeah, but they also try to trade him at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that's fair. The trading part is definitely not.
The Suns are blowing it up this offseason. The Booker's been floated out there as a trade. Durant's already out basically. So
the Booker stuff apparently they want to keep forever. Ishbia did an interview and said they want to keep him forever.
Yeah, does he want to be here? All right, anything else at point guard?
McConnell at 4K if there's no Halliburton.
Sure. All right, shooting guard. Here we go. Anthony Edwards, as you mentioned, broke the slate today. Only needed 3 quarters to do it. He was the second highest rostered player, projected wise. So he fulfilled his prophecy there. He gets the Pacers for $9,300. Get Booker, get Bane at 9K. Nearly triple doubled, 53 fantasy points. No Ja. What do we say, Grande?
Yeah, I mean, like Booker in tournaments, especially if Beal doesn't play, like Bane, like Reeves, can't pay Levine 87. That's criminal. So like basically Reeves up. Yeah, including Reeves in that, but Reeves up. I like all 4 of those plays.
Kobe White against Utah.
Dude, guys, he is really playing well. I know the Houston game, he wasn't great shooting. That happens. Houston still the scrounge out 37 fantasy points and a 7 for 21. The minutes have been great. The Bulls are like literally trying. They're a playing team. They can't move anywhere. They're definitely not being like they're not falling out of the plan, but they're just going to keep playing these dudes big minutes. And Kobe White's, he's going to be a popular play in this shooting guard, small forward stuff. Oh, he's going to be so popular.
Helped all of us out with another 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Just like get there, get to the line, get your free points. Again, Murphy's there. Just to give context to what I said to Grande, I wrote up the underdog picks, I think it was, or prize 6 picks on Saturday. I wrote them both up. I forgot which play Murphy was part of, but Murphy's points were out 22.5. As soon as Zion got ruled out, my brain said, oh, matchup against San Antonio. Like Trey Murphy's going to cook this spot. Did all the research. He does have good numbers. Senior McCollum has better numbers without Zion Williamson on the floor. I stuck with my gut. I went with Murphy. He went under by 2.5. McCollum smashed. Lesson learned there. Murphy still has really good numbers again with Zion off the floor. We'll see if Zion plays or not. And you mentioned they could also be without Kelly Olynyk, who actually had a really good. Murphy missed because if you look at the end of that game, box score wise, Kelly O was out there making buckets, getting offensive rebound putbacks. Like it was a Kelly O show there at the end of that game. I would definitely play Murphy still if Zion was out of the lineup. And then Vassell, again, now 2 of the last 3 of the last 4 rather. He's cooked scoring wise. Even in the game he didn't score as many points, he nearly triple-doubled, had 45 fantasy points. So $6,900 for Vassell. This continues to be a nice, fair play here.
Yeah, I like Murphy. I like Vassell. Love the eligibility. Love the matchups for both. Well, I don't love the matchup for Murphy, really, but if they're shorthanded, I'd go there.
Yeah, if they're shorthanded, of course. Shaedon Sharpe, 67 in this spot here. Bridges is just like One good game against Portland.
It's just the game, dude. It's just a nightmare game.
I don't want to touch that. If you could tell me he would play minutes, I'd play Sexton, but like I don't.
I know he played. They were playing him a bunch. They were playing the starters a bunch of minutes before they just got absolutely housed on Sunday.
Yeah, he played 34 minutes, so he did get a ton of run there. But now it's a back-to-back. Like, does he play? Does he play this game?
There is nobody safe in Utah. I don't even feel like it's worth mentioning, like talking Utah, because who the hell knows who's going to play?
If you told me Sexton was playing 34 minutes against Chicago, I'd play him all day at $6,400.
He also I feel like the problem with Utah is the rest of the year. The game before that, no injury concern. He played 20 minutes, and then they benched Larry Markkinen at half and straight up gave Walker Kessler a DMP. So
yeah,
it's going to be basically impossible to even talk anything Utah related for the rest of the year.
Until maybe like 5 o'clock. Maybe.
Maybe. Because like you saw that starting lineup, they got fined $100K and then they immediately upgraded, and then Larry Markkinen doesn't come back for the second half.
Yeah, so they don't, just so they wouldn't get fined.
Yeah, and Walker Kessler was active and DMP. There's nothing you can't.
Yes.
If the Lakers wanted to DMP LeBron, there's nothing LeBron can like. There's nothing there. That's just them DMPing. Like it's annoying, but Utah is just going to be an absolute abomination for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Not that they haven't, by the way. They have been an abomination.
I was going to say, it's not like they haven't been. Dalton Connect was really good the other day. When again, there was no Luka in that game. 37 minutes, 32 actual. If they're going to let him play 37 minutes, he's going to take 27 shots. If there's no Luka against San Antonio, we'll buy back in, right?
Yeah, that's the key. Like you just said, it has to be no Luka because he barely played with Luka. It is kind of worth mentioning they were much healthier today.
Sure.
We don't know if they're going to be on the back-to-back. We don't know if they're going to play Vanderbilt or if they play we don't know what they're going to look like on the second leg.
I agree. McBride. Again, I know we don't really want this Miami Knicks game at all, but he's been good. Playing with Brunson.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
What's
the total on this
212. 212.
So it's literally the worst game on the board.
By not it's not even like 10
not even close. It's the worst game. Every game after 10 o'clock has forever total. So
it's 10 points. 222.5 Philly, Houston. So and that game sucks. We've heard the two worst games are actually just so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Houston side is fine. That's the only side I would care to. It's just
from 10 p.m. on. We have 231, 242, 236, 229.5, 229.5.
It's a good numbers.
So you wouldn't have any reason. I mean, even 9 o'clock, 238.5, Chicago, Utah. Right? You don't need to touch that game there. 213, 7-point spread. Just let it go. All right. Anything else for value here? Kevin Horder, $5,200. Lawson's 49.
Yep. Both those guys.
Both those two guys there. What did Golden State do? You mentioned no Podziemski the other day.
They went small and Quentin Post didn't start. They started. Who is their fifth starter? They started Guy Santos is who they started.
Santos, okay.
He played 20 minutes. And then everything Gary Payton's been getting a ton of run off the bench. He played 24 minutes. They played the starters a bunch of minutes. Moody was great the other day. They gave Kuminga 20 minutes, but they gave Payton was the highest minutes earner off the bench. And that's been kind of consistent. Gary Payton's minutes have been pretty good.
Yeah, you called that out on that show as well. Kuminga has 20 minutes. He was good in his 20 minutes, but they're just not going to play him more.
No, 20 minutes seem to be the cap. I would two potential values. I don't know. Julian Champagny, the Spurs.
Sure.
We'll talk about his brother soon, but Julian at 4K, the minutes are trending upwards on him. and Gary Payton's 3,800 below him. I think both those guys are interesting.
Sure. Again, minutes have been there for them. Under 4K plays. I don't hate it. Small forward, Zion Williamson. Again, we'll see if he plays or not, but we did at least get over to 30 minutes in 2 of the last 4. So if we think he's active and this ends up being a competitive game, we know there's now over a 33-minute ceiling potential for him here. So would be certainly in conversations. Where are you with like DeRozan, Hart, Kobe White with small forward eligibility now, Jimmy Buckets at 77, Denny at 71, revenge and playing really well. Like, what do we think here?
Love Zion if he plays, because everything's trending upwards for Zion. So if he plays, I'm in. I think DeRozan is just stupidly priced, and I essentially have no interest in any of these guys with Sabonis back.
Okay.
I mean, those prices are Levine 87, DeRozan 84. We're getting prices as if they're playing, or as if Sabonis isn't playing. Hart coming off a game that every so often, Josh Hart decides, I cannot play basketball tonight. And that happens every once in a while. But we got to stop talking about this game. You keep asking me about the Knicks.
You can ignore me. Okay, talk Butler then. 7,700. Say Curry doesn't play.
Yeah, if Curry doesn't play, it's a really good spot. I mean, even if Curry plays, it's a pretty good spot. 7,700. We just need a little bit more aggression from Jimmy Butler, I'd say, because we haven't necessarily gotten it consistently.
We got it early on. He was attacking the rim, and then it went away.
And then it came back.
Sort of came back.
And now it's gone. Now it's gone again.
What'd you make of his comments of him saying that he didn't think Miami appreciated his talents?
I think that he is just making things up at this point. I think that's just not true.
I think your talents is what? A coffee maker or a basketball player? Because they certainly appreciated your talents on the court.
Yes, he is making things up. I like your Denny call quite a bit. He's been just so good. Awful start on Sunday too. Just to get the 37 fantasy points just shows you how good he is. Even after a bad start, like it's not something you should worry about. He fills it up. So yeah, I mean we don't know who's in and who's out for Portland, but assuming if it's anything close to the same roster. Like if Jeremy Grant doesn't play again, that's all I need. If there's no Grant, that's all we need, because then we know there's usually no like funny stuff when it comes to his minutes. Because we start talking Jeremy Grant, that's when Chauncey starts like, he's kind of playing with the beard.
Not gets amnesia. It's like he hasn't realized. He forgets that Denny Avdija just went for 34-16 against Golden State and 30-12-10 against Cleveland. He forgets that it happened, and then all of a sudden he gives him 23 minutes. You're like, what are you doing? Like,
we need Jeremy Grant out for the ultimate confidence. If Grant does play, like I'd still be okay with it, but there is that thing in the back of our heads, right? Like, oh no, what if Denny doesn't play well out of the gate?
Like I'm almost positive, like any game where he's played at least like 35 minutes this year, he is
smashed,
averaging like 50 fantasy points. Yeah, he's been ridiculous. 7,100 good price tag. I almost talked about OG, but I'll save us from our time. McDaniels, Michael Porter Jr. in the 6K range. Obviously, if anybody missing from Denver, maybe MPJ. Brown also. Brown's probable. Is Brown was hit too? Michael Porter had 42 fantasy points against Washington on Saturday.
John, I have Denny data. Do you want it?
Yeah. What we got?
Denny Avdija has played 6 games of 40 minutes this year.
Okay.
In those games, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists per game. In the 20 games Denny Avdija has played 30 minutes in, He is averaging 34 minutes, 18, 8, and 5.
Yeah. Just play.
Good.
Just play the guy. Play the guy.
Play
Play the guy 40. Play him 40. 25, 11, and 6. Play him 40.
Play him 40. Play him 40. 25.
Allen Iverson one time averaged 46 minutes for a season. Like, we can get our guys out here,
Yeah, McDaniels had a huge game Sunday. He's just been consistent. The price is coming down. So if you end up there, it's good. He'll be loaned in tournaments. MPJ, if Aaron Gordon is out, MPJ is going to play 40 minutes in this game, or somewhere near 40 minutes. That's always the thing. When there's somebody out, Michael Porter plays more. When they're like full strength, Michael Porter might not play more. And that happened in LA. Aaron Gordon played in the LA game. Yeah, he played in the LA game, or he played in the Washington game. He played in one of those games.
Yeah. Anyways, we need him taking shots, really.
Yes, we need him taking shots. I like the price 64.
Man, other Champagny.
Yes, this is the other Justin. He's been awesome. This is right after the Koulibaly injury, and now Justin Champagny is just smashing. Yeah. So there's no reason to think with Koulibaly just out for the year that we're just not going to see this. And dude, he played 31 minutes in a blowout. He was in with the third string guys in that Detroit game, and then played 33 and 39 the next two. So like, kind of just matchup proof here.
In 8 games where he's played at least 30 minutes this year, he's averaging 35 minutes, and rounding up slightly, he's averaging 14 and 10, 13.8 points, 9.3 rebounds in 8 games.
He's a great rebounder.
Yeah, in the one game he played over 40. He played 45 minutes. I'm assuming that was an overtime game. He had 31 and 10 in that game. This isn't like a small sample size of him being good in extended minutes, because remember, Kuzma was out for a while this year. Champagny was getting those minutes, and he was really good. So those Champagny brothers are not kidding around. They get their playing time. We talked Horder already. Dylan Brooks was good again. Keldon, 5K.
Yeah, Brooks with the new Brooks. That's new eligibility for Dylan Brooks.
Small forward, power forward.
Yeah. I like the eligibility there. Probably. I like the Keldon call. 30 minutes last game. Really good offense. We say this about Keldon Johnson every slate. Yeah. Very good offensive basketball player.
Another guy would like to get minutes.
Get to a new team. Get him to a new team. Find him a new team. Like Keldon at 5K. Kind of like Moody, the minutes are not going away. They're just what they are. He spaces the floor for them. He's making all of his threes. He is scoring really consistently. The fantasy production's been good. The price doesn't move either. So definitely could find myself playing some Moses Moody. I don't hate Jamison Battle because he plays a lot of minutes since he entered the starting lineup. He started again on Sunday.
He hasn't been hitting his shots. What did he do today?
3 of 5 from 3. He only played 22 minutes. I think you mentioned he fouled out in 22 minutes, 23 minutes. He was 3 of 5 from 3. So at least they're a little, I guess, something to, hang your hat on there.
He was trending in the right direction. If he got 36 minutes, he might have actually had himself a day today.
Yeah, so I don't hate it, but 4,600 is a little steep. I think we can just go to safely. One, I don't want us to zoom past it. Ben Mathurin with no Siakam. We'll see how that plays out. Bruce Brown started the other day again. He started in the Clippers and the Spurs. Obviously, the Magic game we could just ignore. But the games that he's gotten 30 minutes for this team, he's been great. Mm-hmm. And then where's Ryan Dunn? Ryan Dunn was great against the Kings. It's like, oh my God, this guy's good. Maybe we should play him more. And then he started again on Sunday. Yeah. And he only played 23 minutes because he's in foul trouble. But the Ryan Dunn experience, full effect. He took 12 shots in 23 minutes. So second straight game with double-digit shot attempts. He had 5 stocks. He had 13 points, 3 rebounds, assists, and 5 stocks. And he took 8 threes. I'm all in on Ryan Dunn at 3,800. If that's going to be the role where as long as because he's so good defensively, and if he's going to take actual volume and there's no Bradley Beal, then I'm in. Phoenix, you said it. There's like, they're somehow still in the play-in hunt because it's just Dallas is just so hurt and decimated that they can still make it. I think it's 2 games that separate them. But they're like finally playing. They played Iguodaro and Dunn the last 2 games like a bunch. I am all in on Ryan Dunn at 38 if he's going to get extended like this. And again, he only played 23 minutes on Sunday because he had 3 fouls in the first half, but he was so good in the second half. I know this because I played him on the early slate, but he was so good in the second half, and that's the second straight game where he's taking a lot of shots.
The Suns go through these spurts of playing these guys off the bench, and then they have these moments like pour one out for the bowl experience. It was a great 3 weeks. We're like, this is the great. Why would you not play him? Did you show me a tweet? Someone like compared him like Wemby. They're like, what's the difference, right? They're 7-footers, they block shots and shoot threes and yada yada yada. And I was like,
Shaq also said that Chauncey Billups is the Pistons coach. So
true, it's true. I was like, this is what they wanted Thon Maker to be, and then just like Thon Maker, Bull fizzles out again. But we'll see him again next year for like 8 games. Where we're like, look at this guy, he's unstoppable. Why don't you play him? And there's something I don't know. He can't play defense. I don't know what the issue with Bull is, honestly. But all right, anything else here?
No.
Howard Ford. Computer's lagging a little bit. Durant's $9,700 against Toronto. Would obviously be a good spot for him. Maybe no Bradley Beal. We'll see. Maybe someone else sits. We'll see. Triple J against Sacramento, $8,400. Looked pretty good the other day, 31-6 against Miami.
Yep.
Stay out of foul trouble. He's in foul trouble against Cleveland again. Evan Mobley worked him. So not a good matchup for Triple J there, going up against some of the other elites. But has a spot against Sacramento. Maybe he takes advantage of. Your boy. I might buy you a jersey, I guess. Julius Randle. And then no Siakam already. So,
he's just been good. I don't know what to tell you. They've won 13 games in a row with him. He's been really good. Was leading them in potential rebounds since he's come back. They second in potential assists. He's scoring a handful of 20-point games. Guy's been good. I don't know what to tell you.
These fantasy numbers aren't good enough for what his price is, though.
They are. They need to be better for sure. I think we're back in that like when he first came back, the price was like too criminally low, and now it's too high. Yeah. So like, it doesn't help that we're in this weird. We're back in that same thing with this team because they have 3 bigs that should start, and they can't. They can't start them all. So like, none of them play too much, none of them play too little, and it hurts on for sure. Look, I am not playing him. I also what John was alluding to is that we were having a Julius Randle discussion prior to the pod, and I told John that he's been playing really well, and John is not paying attention. So
I said he hasn't been because this isn't good enough fantasy production for what it's priced at.
We weren't recording, not talking fantasy.
I was talking fantasy, but anyways, can't play Laurie, Jaden McDaniels, Sandy back? ? Doubtful. Damn, I am a big Sandy Aldama fan, but not going to be there.
Too many
Tyree Easton.
Too many calf injuries.
Tyree Easton will be back. He was awesome the other day.
Yes, he will, and yes, he was.
Great player. Houston's going to have a problem in the offseason. They have to move somebody.
They might be the most interesting team to watch. They have whatever anybody wants. Like, they probably are one of the few teams best. There are a few teams better suited to acquire a star.
Yes.
Right? Because they have assets. They have the Suns draft picks. They have
go get Kevin Durant,
dude. Well, right. That's been the talk. Like, go get your picks back for either him or Devin Booker. That's been like, apparently they called for Devin Booker before, and they were like, no, we're not trading you Devin Booker. But like, you have endless young talent, right? Amin Thompson, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith.
Yeah.
You have picks. You have this is the most interesting team. And truthfully, you and I have talked about it for a while, but Tari Eason is playing himself ahead of Jabari Smith by a mile. It's like that gap is.
Tari Eason was a first-round pick.
No, I know. Jabari was going to go.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's not as if Tari Eason was some G League guy or a second round who's developed. He was a first-round pick. He's playing these. He has pretty much always played like a first-round pick since Summer League. When you and I were like, "Hey, this Tari Eason dude,
he's crazy. He's
kind of
crazy out there." Yeah,
and he's been crazy ever since. And then we had that tweet earlier this year where I went semi-viral, where they were like, "We are not trading Tari Eason and Amin Thompson," and I tweeted the Jabari Smith draft day little meme there, and he's about to get traded. I think he's the one. The thing is, for a package like that, it's okay, fine. It's Jabari. You throw Reed Shepherd in there, or you have to
Reed Shepherd. That's another one, yeah, for sure.
You have to match money. So, does Dylan Brooks go in that trade or something like that?
There's a lot of options. That's
so depending on who and what you get and where you get it from, but yes, Houston, they have the right coach. Ime is definitely the right coach.
Yes.
They just, they have so much young talent around them. So, but it's, and Kevin Durant's won before. I was about to say, is Kevin Durant toxic? But yes, but no, I don't know.
I'm sure they would, with open arms, welcome Kevin Durant because they need the guy.
I know. He's only ever won with Steph though. So,
Well, yeah.
All right. Anyways, that's all. We could do a whole nother show on that. Probably be pretty interesting to listen to. Draymond, $5,900. Does he fight Jokic in this game?
If he didn't fight Cat and Cat didn't fight him, then I don't think he's going to fight Jokic.
That's fair. All right. You have that at 59. I still like Toby. Keyshawn's there as well. Play Champagny.
Yep. Olynyk if he plays.
Yeah, Kelly.
We're definitely playing Olynyk if he plays.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Yeah, Kellyo's built for these end of season bad team moments.
Oh, dude, he is. This is his Kellyo's season for sure.
Absolute wheelhouse. Good for Kellyo. He's been in the league for as long as Giannis has. So drafted ahead of him. So.
Jeremy Sohan, finally, man, I don't understand where the minutes have gone, and it's not even really reliable. But man, is he such a good fantasy player when he's out there?
What happened to this guy that opened the
beginning of the year? I know he was so good. He was so good.
And then they just all of a sudden iced him out, and I don't know what happened. They have a lot of wings, and they don't really know what position this dude plays. They tried him at point guard. They played him at center. They played him at power forward. I don't know. Maybe he needs to be traded. We want Keldon to be traded. Maybe Sohan gets traded, and that solves their logjam there.
True.
We'll see what Vanderbilt does on the back-to-back. Maktovic can just keep plugging.
Yeah,
can just be good play.
I mean, I would say I'm not going to play him if Kellyo, Zion, and Misi play, because then he's just 20 minutes.
Sure.
And then it's you really need the ceiling. But if those guys are out, yeah, he probably starts.
Because he backs up the 4 and the 5, right? So
he's versatile. I'm just saying, I just don't know what the path to minutes would be.
Sure. What are they doing with this kid?
I told you, dude. The minutes are just so unsustainable, dude. Because Billy Donovan did this whole thing and the front office was that's why I was so mad at the deadline, because they didn't trade Vooch and they didn't trade these pieces. And then the GM came out and was like, no, we're still trying to win. It's trying to win. Doing what? Win what?
You can't win with Mazzulis out there?
I think it's Donovan came out after and it was we're trying to win and we want to play these young guys and develop them, but they need to play the right way. So they don't think Matas plays the right way all the time. And he's still very raw. I mean, he is a very just super freakish athletically guy. But yeah, the minutes have sucked. Patrick Williams' minutes have trended upwards. I don't want to get you too excited, but they are on the rise. On Obi Toppin's at the same price though, and I would just rather play Obi Toppin than like Patrick Williams. 36. 36.
All the way.
36, yeah.
Yeah, okay, no Siakam.
I don't know if he starts.
Dries maybe, or
that's probably well, Neesmith's been starting.
I mean, Neesmith will start at the 4, and they kind of shift the guards up.
Matherin, they play like Matherin at the guard. You're probably right. It's probably Walker or Matherin, but it is good to see at least Obi's played in the 20s in back-to-back games. Like he played 6 minutes in that first Bucks game.
Yeah,
because this is another guy that like I watch and I'm like, I understand you're not the best player on the floor, but you always are doing something good when you're out there. He's the best jumper in any gym he's.
I was gonna say, if you get a wedgie on the court and ball stuck on the rim, he's the guy you want,
Or like up where it's like the shot clock all the way up there. He's also that guy too. Like,
yeah.
But I think like you're correct where Jarris Walker or
Walker 3K.
Matherin start. Yeah, I think he's 3K. It's 3K. Yeah. Small forward, power forward. But I do think Obi is still an excellent play at 36 with the minutes trending the way that they have.
Yeah. It feels a little trappy to me because it is Minnesota and how good Minnesota is, but like at that
for Obi
or Walker, right? Like I get they're good fantasy point per minute players, but like the matchup feels a little.
Yeah, but if Obi Toppin played mid 20, if you could guarantee me Obi Toppin playing mid 20s minutes in like any spot, at 3,600.
Yeah. Okay. Would you play him or Dunn?
I wouldn't have to pick.
If I'm making you pick.
They have 3 separate eligibilities.
And a util.
Yeah, I could have 4 different options here.
But you're picking, so
I would probably go Ryan Dunn with the thought that I am pretty sure Obi Toppin would start.
Okay.
If Obi Toppin were to get a start for that, that's where I'd go.
Okay. We've made it.
Well, he's shit, dude. I mean, we've been asking for months, right? I mean, he's
first time all year, $13,000.
I mean, dude, like, why haven't we been here? I don't know. It just hasn't made sense to me. I don't know.
Luka's out. If he is Jokic the plug for you?
I mean, probably. It might just be you also could make the case no, and just like you're just fair and balanced build with like Austin Reeves as your like primary option, primary spend up, right? So I think that there's a couple different routes you can go where if Luka's out, obviously Jokic has the highest ceiling of anyone. Yeah. But you could then Reeves, Jaren Jackson, Reeves, Desmond Bane, Reeves, like that double mid-tier spend up would probably become the most played option. So in that instance, maybe you do go Jokic, because we've talked about that a lot. Like just getting Jokic loaned is whatever price he is. If you get him lower owned than he should be, I'd live with the results of that every time.
Does Denver +5 seem like a weird spread to you?
No, because Golden State's like 13-2 with Jimmy Butler and have won like a boatload of games in a row. They're starting to get so much steam, and Denver's coming off a home loss against Washington.
Sure. I'm trying to see what they were the last time they faced Denver. Let's see. The last time they faced Denver, it was also a 5-point spread. They were also 5, and they lost that game outright. But that was back in December. So they've faced twice, and both times was a 5-point spread. Interesting. All right. Actually, they were getting 5. Yeah, okay, so they were getting 5 in that game.
It was also just like complete difference. Like this team.
I agree. It was December 3rd. They were getting 5 in that game, and they were on the road. So flip the script. Denver's on the road here. All right. Anyways, 13K. He's fine. Yep. Again, 236 total. Late in 10 p.m. game. There's 5 of them, so it's own slate by itself, basically.
Yep.
We're not going to. Are we going to mention Towns? Do we just mention Towns to give it a look?
Towns is a very good basketball player.
Man with a jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the next play then?
I do like the Sabonis. I do like the Sabonis price for what it's worth.
Okay.
That's like the one king I could probably get behind.
So I think I screenshotted you my underdog like battle royal team here. But the night that D'Angelo Russell had like the worst game like ever. I got Sabonis like the 4th round of that draft because like people were just like not sure if he was going to play or not.
Right.
And he cooked.
Like and it's worth at that
right
4th round. Like
if he sits, I'll take the extra guy they give me. Right.
Yeah.
And then D'Angelo Russell had 10 fantasy points in that game.
Yeah, that was such a fun time. It's a good time.
Yeah, gross. That's the game where I told you like I took Jalen Green in my last pick in every draft.
Yep.
And he smoked. So
yep.
Would have been a much bigger night. It had Sabonis. It had D'Angelo Russell do anything, but he didn't that day. All right. So I agree with you. I'm good with Sabonis at 94. That's fine. What did Vuk end up getting into? 30 minutes there?
Yeah, back in the starting lineup too.
Yeah. If his minutes cap gets increased, I have some interest at 73.
Agreed.
And then you have Duran, who's just going to always play 29 or 30 minutes. Better spot for him here against the Pelicans.
Yep. Agreed.
Sar 65.
Dude, he's coming off. I'm shocked he didn't go right here. The game. I mean, he took 20 shots to get there, but dude, impressive. Like it's a Jokic matchup. Took 28 shots. Going shot for shot with Nikola Jokic.
Should continue to take shots. He's a good player.
Yep. And they've been winning a lot of games. Miles Turner also questionable here, by the way.
I was gonna say I was in on Miles Turner with Siakam out in this matchup potentially, but if Turner also sits, you might just get your wish anyways.
I might be playing
Bryant starting, but
I might be playing a lot more Indiana than I thought I would have. That's
on the road against Minnesota. Then that's what you're biting on.
If they're down 3 starters, I would,
Yeah.
4. Neesmith is questionable too. If they're down 4 starters, I might be playing a lot of cheap Indiana here. I'm telling you right now.
Good thing you're on the playbook and not me here. 8 o'clock. They're getting 7 in that game.
They're getting 7, but like they might have 3K starters in this game. Like bad spot or not. if I see Obi Toppin, Thomas Bryant, Jerice Walker starting, forget it.
They're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games. They're 14-21 on the road against the spread. So those are not good numbers for Indiana here. This could very well be a blowout situation.
And that number will not be 7.
No.
Halliburton, Turner, Neesmith all get rolled out as well.
You just bet it now. Bet the -7 now for Minnesota.
It's not a bad bet.
We don't know what Utah's going to do, but Filipowski would obviously be a huge play if we could have the foresight to know who will not be playing for Utah in this game.
He would be like the first plug I'd have if we get news that Kessler's out. He'd be like the first.
He has been extended. He has been awesome.
Every game. Every time he's been extended.
Every time. Again, you have the Minnesota guys there. Klingon was good again. Never going to be a good offensive player yet, but rebounds and defense, 5,800.
Yeah, he was a monster on the glass in the stocks.
Yeah. Orlando Robinson will just keep playing a whole lot of minutes.
Yeah, and I would. They have not played Pirtle back-to-backs. So Pirtle's not going to play her.
Robinson played 30 minutes tonight off the bench. 10, 4, and 2. But as you mentioned, more likely than starting in this one.
Yep.
And some big numbers out of him over the last couple of games there. 3 straight double-doubles prior to today's game. So rock that at 5K.
What did Castleton play for minutes? You still have
27 off the bench. 8 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists.
I would probably play Castleton too.
Okay.
He's 4,500 power forward center. What did Mobo play? What did Mobo play?
No, DNP.
He DNP.
Him and Boucher were both DNPs today. Temple got 24 minutes.
I know they love playing Garrett Temple. It'd be interesting to see what Toronto does like back to back, because I think Quickly Barrett probably play. Pirtle's not going to play. Scotty's not going to play. So if Castleton and like Orlando Robinson were to start, those would be 2 guys I'd have interest. He just got his second 10-day, I think, renewed, Castleton. So he should be good. I don't think that's something we have to worry about. Okay. Anything else? Jackson Hayes.
Is he back? Yeah.
Was really good on Sunday. Yeah. He played really well Sunday.
I mean, they've needed any sort of life in the front court there. 29 minutes right now.
Yeah.
So.
19, 6, 3, 1, and 1 for Jackson Hayes on the second leg of a back.
Yeah.
Or
front leg. That's the question, right? Comes back from the knee. Did get 29 out of the jump, but they're so starved for front court.
Yeah.
We talk about Dallas, fumbling that trade, and obviously since that trade, just like a comedy of just bad luck has fell on them with all the injuries, right? But the Lakers traded Anthony Davis with the intent of trading for another center, and then botched the one center trade they had, and this is what they're stuck now in their front court in the West.
Yeah.
How did they ever allow that to how did they allow themselves to get into that position?
At least Luka's making Jackson Hayes look serviceable.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They just needed him to be like, when it's not him, they don't have they have Alex Len. Then it's like they're in deep waters.
Where's Hassan Whiteside? You can't just go find somebody,
Where's Hassan Whiteside?
I mean, if you're gonna play Alex Len, you might as well just play Hassan Whiteside, right?
I mean, honestly, that is not a terrible one. If you're gonna play,
I'm just gonna call back on guys that are bad centers around Alex Len. There's others. Where's Alex Njika at? Can't you go pick that guy up and
Did he ever get more than 17 minutes on the Pelicans or
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Alex Len has never he's never been. Where's Dragon Bender? Come on, let's just
Dragon Bender. Oh my god.
Let's just play a game of callback center, shall we? All right. Enough of wasting everybody's time. Now to what everybody's watching the show for. Let's build a lineup.
I would just throw just at 4K O'Shea Brissett. I know it's gross, but he's played 23 and 25 minutes off the bench for Philly. In each of the he's been pretty good per minute. So and then you have
the Pacers. Yeah.
So. He was good with the Pacers. And then you could play Obi here. And then 3K Thomas Bryant would be death taxes Thomas Bryant.
Yeah. Everybody's lineup would play Thomas Bryant. Did Looney get any minutes? Nah, they ice him out.
No, and Quinn Post is actually questionable.
That's what I was saying.
I guess maybe they just give Kuminga. Maybe it would just be more small ball, because Denver's not doing. Denver has completely iced DeAndre Jordan again, and they're just doing Zeke Naji, Peyton Watson front courts when Jokic is off the floor. So I guess it's worth mentioning, if there's no Quentin Post, what is Kuminga's price? I mean, Kuminga might actually play more than normal. 53. Still a little too expensive, but
That's Olenek. I mean, yes, he was obviously good 20 minutes in those two games. You know,
he was. If there's no post, no Pajemski, no post, maybe we get a little bit of an extension here.
They should play him. Like,
they should. We heard
the. Like, let's get that guy more minutes.
I sent you the Kerr quote.
I know.
You read it. You're probably like, yeah, he's not playing. He's playing 20 minutes a night.
Reluctantly playing him 20 minutes. So.
Yes.
But to your point, if there's no post, they slide Draymond over. I feel like they're going to play Looney against Jokic, though.
Yeah, they do. They usually do play Looney.
So, that's kind of my thought process on that one. But all right, let's do this. Where was our values that we were going to go to on this one?
Ryan Dunn.
Yeah, Dunn.
And Obi Toppin, if you want to just play them both.
Sure.
Because we know for a fact what's his name's out. We have Siakam at least. Siakam's out. Do you want to play Luka? Like, we can just play Luka and then.
Yeah, I'm good playing Luka. Again, I think he's the play if he's in. So, $6,100.
Ooh, that's a good. I like that price range. Went to center. The Bulls are obviously a great spot. Kobe White.
Yeah, let's go Kobe White. Shooting guard. Hoarder, Mr. 52. Both against Utah.
Let's see if we can find another value. I don't love the price for.
The minutes have been great for him.
The minutes have been great. It's just the price is going up. Like,
are we assuming Olenek's in, or like what are we like? How do you want to?
I'd assume Olenek in.
You can use him at center if you want.
Yeah, we can use Kelly. Yeah, I like Kellyo.
Let's see. They're trying to like Lawson keeps playing 30 off the bench.
He's gonna play. Yeah, he's just gonna play 30. Right.
Right. Like,
do they bring back? I wonder. Oh, Jared Roden's not available in this game.
No, he's still not back yet. Yeah. I mean, you did say you think Quickly's back, so I guess if Quickly was back, that may hinder Lawson a little.
You know who we didn't mention, and I think we should, and I hate that I have to say that I'm gonna say this because it's the Heat Knicks game. But Jaime Jaquez Jr. played another 27 minutes, back-to-back games, 31 and 27, and he's $4,000. So
I don't want to.
He's a forward only, but yeah, it's disgusting. I'm not saying we have to. I'm also just throwing him into the player pool.
Sure, good. I'm glad they're playing him again. They shouldn't have not been playing this guy again.
Duncan's questionable and Wiggins is questionable. So like if they don't. The Champagnes. Yeah. Well, probably more Justin.
Yeah.
With Washington Champagne than Spurs Champagne, but also I'm good with either Champagne.
All right. So we have $6,000 for a guard in the util, and we could punt something else.
If you wanted to play another bowl, I would probably feel better about like Trey, but at 59, and then we'd have a 6,100. We don't have to. Because like
68 with Hoarder would be Duran, Sharp, Castle, Westbrook.
Just sell the Misfits out by $100. Tari 62.
Tarison, and then we did 58 guard, Scoot, Nembhard, DDV. McBride.
The answer there is definitely Scoot if like Simons were to sit. I like Nembhard or Nembhard if Halliburton were to sit.
Yeah. If we did like, I don't know how competitive that game was gonna be. That'd be a 40-40 util. Was there cheap?
Yeah, there was some cheap.
Matherin would obviously Bruce Brown 43. Tyus if he was to start for Beal.
Yeah, we could one of those Jaquez at 4K. I mean, there's a lot of There's a lot of like interesting names down here for sure.
If we liked Jalen Green there.
What are we doing? Pippen or Kennard at guard?
Oh, Pippen.
Yeah, like one of the two. What are we doing?
Yeah. $7,300 gives us. We'll just go sign Denny. We'll just plug Denny. There you go. We figured it out. Luka, Kobe White, Ryan Dunn, Obi Toppin, Kelly Olynyk, Scottie Pippen, Justin Champagnie, Denny Avdia. $200 left over. And that's what we got for now. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We appreciate you guys who all tuned in here for us. It's a little bit of a longer show, but a lot to talk about. Hit that like, subscribe, and share button. We'll see you at 5.